Welcome back to America's Commercial Real Estate Show. I'm Michael Bull. Thanks for being with us. This segment's brought to you by Arbor Crowd, institutional quality crowdfunding. Check them out at arborcrowd.com. Today we're talking about hospitality, about the hotel industry, and we'll have a special guest for you next. It's Tom French, and Tom is president of the hospitality group with Bull Realty. He's headquartered in Atlanta. Tom, thanks for being with us.
Always a pleasure.
Well, you know, it's interesting to hear the consultants, the advisors, the economists and analysts, but it's also interesting to see it from the desk of people actually in the business, right? And Tom, you're helping people buy and sell hotels all over the country and a lot in the Southeast. So if someone is looking to buy or sell hotels right now, especially if they're looking to sell, where are we in the hotel cycle? It seems like this economic cycle has been great, and the hotels have done well, as a lot of real estate, but some people are getting concerned the cycle's a little long in the tooth. What about in hotels? What are the buyers and sellers saying that you talk to every day about that?
Well, I think everybody is concerned similar to the rest of the real estate market. It is long, and they're looking at it and they're going, is this bubble really going to burst? We're looking where occupancy rates are continuing to chug along. They're steady. They continue to go up a little bit here and a little bit there. Most of all that everybody's surprised about is that the ADR, everybody's rate continues to go up at 2 or 3% a year. Surprisingly enough, RevPAR continues to outpace the average daily rate, whether you're in the full service sector or if you're in the limited service sector. So if you're an owner, that's really good. So that's what people are looking for. And if you're an investor looking to come into the hospitality sector, that's what you want to look for. So if you're looking for or thinking about disposing of your property, now's the time to do that because the market is steady and looks like it will be through 2018. That's what all the market and the projections are looking towards for this year.
Yeah, and I guess if you want to sell in 2018, you better be starting now to really get it done and closed by the end of the year. So what about financing? You know, it seems like the lenders can really impact the cycle and property values. So what are you seeing for financing for hotels today as far as underwriting and rates? Lenders like hotels?
Interesting question. Mm-hmm. You know, for years, if you wanted to go to the bank and get financing, it was like you had a big black mark on your forehead because nobody wanted to finance a hotel. It was the forbidden piece that you didn't handle. Today, there are banks that are out there that are welcoming them back into the diversity of their portfolio. We do know that there are lenders such as JP Morgan and Morgan Stanley who have large tranches of cash and that are looking for diversity across that portfolio, that are willing and looking and welcoming hospitality investments into that. The SBA, if you have a CMBS property that's ready to roll out of that program and you're an individual owner, the SBA program is the best outlet for you from that standpoint. So if you're from that one, if you're just a middle-sized investor that is out here and you've got multiple properties, conventional financing has turned out to be the best. There are a lot of lenders that are in here. There are regional lenders that are looking to finance and bring your property into the fold. So financing is much easier than it was 18 to 24 months ago.
Okay. Well, we're talking with Tom French, who's a hotel broker with the hospitality group at Bull Realty. So Tom, let's say that someone is in another sector and they're looking to diversify a little bit. Is there such thing to buy into a property, a hotel, but have a little cookie cutter kind of a situation, or I guess a coupon clipper?
I think the interesting thing is that, you know, we've got two types of ownership when it comes to a property. You've got that type of owner who likes to go out and buy the property, who likes the value add, who likes the ground up type of construction. And then you've got the person who likes the coupon clipping. And we're finding more and more investors today that are rolling out of properties that just are looking for that steady 7, 8, 9, 10% return, and they just want to say, would you send me the check every month or every single quarter? They are not operators. All they want is, will you just send it to me?
But hotels are kind of like businesses, right? Does that exist in a hotel investment?
Absolutely it does. And what we've got is we have sellers that are more than willing to sit down and say, okay, we know that in most cases that if you have a franchise property, there's always a change of ownership PIP. And you need an operator, and a lot of the owners are willing to stay in as the operator, and in most cases they work very well with the franchise rep, and they will do your PIP for you on the change of ownership PIP, and they will either stay in and operate the property for you, or they will help you find an operator for the property, and they will be more than happy to send you your investment check or your return every single month or every single quarter.
So do you have one now that an investor could buy?
Absolutely. Yeah. We have 2 of those that are on there right now. We have owners that are willing to sit down and do it. We have a couple of properties that are, we have one in just under $6 million, and we have one that's in the mid 7s, where the owner will sit here and work with you through the PIP, and will continue to operate it. They are really willing to do that, and they're relatively good operators.
Okay, well, good. And as Michael Salloway said, that also sells hotels with your group, these are not roach motels on the side of the road, right? These are nice properties.
These are very nice properties.
Okay.
These are IHG properties. They're flagged, and the owner has done a great job maintaining them. And the change of ownership PIPs are not huge. And the other things is they know that they've got a good reputation, and they can help you negotiate the change of ownership PIPs. So it's great.
Yeah, and you mentioned the change of ownership PIP. Tell the audience what PIP stands for, and if you will, give them some tips related if you are a seller and you're going to be selling your property, what should you think about related to the PIP?
A PIP is Property Improvement Plan. And every franchise has, when you change ownership, every franchise comes in and says, when I go from one owner to the other owner, this is their one single time that they can come back and say, I need all of these things done. Improved. This is their wish list, okay? Mm-hmm. They go from top to bottom, stem to stern, and they're saying this is everything that we want done. And you can sit down and you can negotiate some of the things out, but this is their one shot, and they work through it. And sometimes they can be absolutely staggering when you look at it. And if you're a new owner, you come in here and it'll take your breath away. And even if you're the seller, it will take your breath away. So what you have to do is, some of the sellers that are in here, if you're selling the property, we suggest that you talk to your franchise rep before you take it to market, so you have a really good understanding of what that buyer is going to face when you sell the property, because it's going to affect, whether I'm doing a multiple of my rooms revenue or whether I'm doing a cap rate. It's going to affect both of those, and it's going to affect my purchase price. And you want to know where I'm going to be in that marketplace, because you don't want to be surprised, and you certainly don't need the buyer surprised.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So what would you leave our audience with, Tom, related to the hotel industry, especially some of our audience that maybe they're not in the hotel industry? One of the things that jumps out to me is it seems like it's a lot more of a business than the typical real estate sectors that we invest in.
It's still real estate, mm-hmm. and it is a business,
mm-hmm.
And they are married together without a doubt. One of the things that's still out there is it is just like any other business today. There's tons of technologies in there, but I need everybody to understand that it is still an operating business, and it's service oriented. And if the difference being is, if you're not savvy at service and you can't deliver the service, that all affects the bottom line. One of the nice things that we do is we've got a lot of experience doing hotels. and having the ability to go in and look at them and say, this is a good property, this is a bad property, here are some of the improvements that can be made, so that we can get the buyer into the property and say, here's your returns and here's what you can expect or not expect, so that we can match the buyer with the property and the returns that they are expecting.
Yeah, I mean, that's important. I think as a seller, you want a broker who can come in and say, hey, to a buyer, hey, maybe if you do this and this and this and this, you can improve values, and it helps sell a property, and obviously it helps a buyer get a good return, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, and it's interesting because it seems like because it's such a service business. I mean, I was stayed in a hotel recently where I'm selling a large property in another state, and I stayed at this hotel, and I won't go back. I mean, it was okay, but the food could have been better at breakfast. It could have been a little cleaner in the lobbies. So I mean, things like that. If those problems hadn't have been there, I'm going back to that city. I would stay there again. So it does seem like there's a lot of opportunity.
There is, and I think one of the things that people walk into today is it's not not the lobby that you walk into, and for you say a little bit about the food. I still think that the thing that sets the pace is if I walk into the bathroom, if the bathroom isn't clean, I'm not staying.
Yeah, yeah. Well, your bathroom, I like good bacon. I want really good bacon in the morning.
That's because you're from the South. That's it.
There you go. Well, Tom, thanks for joining us. Good information.
You're welcome. And
thank you for joining us there around the country, wherever you're watching or listening, iTunes, one of the podcast sites, or our YouTube. Be sure and visit our site, commercialrealestateshow.com, and comment and share and let us know what you think. Until next week, be sure that you always lead, learn, and laugh, and join us for America's Commercial Real Estate Show.